Hi friends, I'm Kelsey Rose of the Two Roses Tarot, and I'm going to show you how to find your personal tarot card for the year. I'll cover some basic concepts of each major arcana card and give you a few introspective questions to consider throughout your year. For this practice, we'll be using the major arcana or archetype cards. An archetype is basically a typical example of a type of person, thing, or experience. In the tarot, I consider the archetypes to be something like an extract of a particular essence. These can be of people or of an experience. The tarot cards express these as an abstract visually through images, symbols, and color themes. As humans, we come complete with all these archetypes within us. They are present in the collective conscious and throughout our personal experiences. So, why might you want to have a personal card for the year? I find it super helpful to have a theme card to guide my focus on personal growth and goal setting. Your year card will change every year on your birthday. The formula that I like to use comes from Mary K Greer, the author of Tarot for Yourself. You take your birth month plus your birthday and add it to the current year. Then you add those digits separately to get a number between 1 and 22. If you get a number larger than 22, simply add those digits together until you get a number between 1 and 22. These numbers are going to correlate with their respective major arcana cards. 1 through 21, number 22 will be for 0, the Fool. For example, my birthday is June 18th, so I'll take 6 plus 18 plus 2025 to get 2049. Then I'm going to add 2 plus 4 plus 9 to get 15. The 15th card of the tarot is the Devil. So lucky me. I'm going to have the Devil for my theme card this year. You're welcome to pause the video and do your math. Now that you have your theme card for the year, I'll cruise through the major arcana cards, covering a little bit about each card and some introspective questions that you can ask yourself as you go through your year. If you got the number 1, you're going to have the Magician. The Magician is inspiration, manifestation, and resourcefulness. Some questions to ask yourself when you have the Magician are, what sort of routine can I implement into my daily life to keep my creativity flowing? Where do I find my inspiration? And what does it mean to be persuasive versus manipulative? If you got the number 2 for your year, your card is going to be the High Priestess. The High Priestess is receptivity, intuition, and ancient wisdom. Some questions you can ask yourself when you have the High Priestess are, what sort of weekly or daily practice can I implement in order to connect more deeply with my intuition? What are my spiritual beliefs and where do they come from? And how do I see the difference between receptivity versus passivity? If you got the number 3 card, your year will be the Empress. The Empress is Mother Nature, abundance, and nurturing. Some questions you can ask yourself when you have the Empress are, what sort of weekly or daily practice can I implement in order to feel more grounded? What areas of my life could use more nurturing and care? And how do I see the difference between enjoying the material world versus overindulging? If you got the number 4 card, your card will be the Emperor. The Emperor is leadership, responsibility, and emotional maturity. Some questions that you can ask yourself when you have the Emperor are, what does it mean to be a strong leader? And in what areas of my life should I focus more on taking the lead? What areas of my life do I feel in control? And where should I be more responsible? If you got the number 5 card, your card will be the Hierophant. The Hierophant is higher education, tradition, community. Some questions you can ask yourself when you have the Hierophant are, what areas of my life could use a little more organization and structure? In what ways does being more practical serve me? And where do I find community and support? If you got the number 6, you'll have the Lovers. The Lovers are duality, harmony, and relationships. Some questions you can ask yourself when you have the Lovers are, what are some of my most prominent masculine and feminine tendencies? In what way can these balance one another? Where do I find the most meaningful relationships in my life? And what is my current relationship with myself and how can I improve that? If you got the number 7, you will have the Chariot. The Chariot is individuality, willpower, and confidence. Some questions you can ask yourself when you have the Chariot are, what sort of boundaries do I need to put into place in order to continue making progress toward my goals? How do I see the difference between being assertive versus being aggressive? And what is one small daily practice that I can implement in order to build more self-confidence? If you got number 8, your card will be Strength. Strength is patience, courage, and compassion. Some questions you can ask yourself when you have strength are, is there an area of my life that would benefit from practicing consistency? Where could I benefit from building patience? And what is one small, simple practice that I can implement in order to become more resilient? If you had number 9, your card will be the Hermit. The Hermit is inner wisdom, solitude, and self-awareness. Some questions you can ask yourself when you have the Hermit are, what is one small routine or practice that I can implement to give myself more quiet time alone? How do I see the difference between wisdom and knowledge? And how can I broaden my perspective? If you got number 10, your card will be the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is luck, control, and observation. Some questions you can ask yourself when you have the Wheel of Fortune are, how do I see a grand scheme or theme outside of my own life? What is one small practice or mindset shift that I can apply in order to feel more momentum at times of stagnation? And what is truly within my control? If you got number 11, your card will be Justice. Justice is honesty, diplomacy, and logical. Some questions you can ask yourself when you have Justice are, in what areas of my life should I be taking more responsibility? How might I practice a more logical approach to problem solving? And how can I practice being more honest with myself? If you got number 12, your card is going to be the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is surrender, going with the flow, and internal contemplation or meditation. Some questions you can ask yourself when you have the Hanged Man are, sometimes the best action is to do nothing at all. Where in my life have I found this to be helpful? How can I incorporate more quiet contemplation into my daily or weekly practice? And how can I let go of the desire to control and embrace going with the flow? If you got number 13, your card will be Death. Don't worry, I hate to ruin the surprise, but we all die. This doesn't really mean that you're going to die that year. Death usually just means transformation, finishing tasks, and accepting of endings. Some questions to ask yourself when you have death are, this is a time to address unfinished tasks. Are there any tasks or projects that I've been putting off that need to be wrapped up? How might I gracefully accept and embrace change? And when the concept of ego and external presentation are stripped away, what's left of me? If you got number 14, your card will be Temperance. Temperance is moderation, reconciliation of opposites, and acceptance. Some questions to ask yourself when you have Temperance are, what areas of my life would benefit from moderation? How can I cultivate more patience through acceptance? And how can I find stability through rejecting extremes and finding a middle road? If you got number 15, your card will be the Devil. The Devil is liberation, control, and healthy integration of the shadow. Some questions to ask yourself when you have the Devil are, where do I let desires overpower my better judgment? Seeking to understand your shadows or toxic traits. And if I embrace said toxic trait in a healthy manner, what would that look like? If you got number 16, you'll have the Tower. The Tower is destruction, rebuilding, and chaos. Some questions to ask yourself when you have the Tower are, where do my beliefs hold me back? What truths have I uncovered recently, and how has it changed the way I see myself or the world? And is there a time when I was so resistant to change where I held myself back? If you got number 17, you'll have the star. The star is hopeful, healing, and generous. Some questions to ask yourself when you have the star are, what small daily or weekly habit can I incorporate into my life to feel more spiritually connected? How can I give back to my community? And what areas of my life do I need to address in order to feel more peaceful and at ease with who I am? If you got number 18, your card will be the moon. The moon is connection to the subconscious, introspective, and intuitive. Some questions to ask yourself when you have the moon are, what small daily habit or weekly practice can I incorporate into my life to connect more deeply with my subconscious? In what ways can I tap into my wild imagination to discover my true nature? And how can I differentiate illusions from the truth? If you got number 19, your card will be the sun. The sun is lighthearted joy, authentic, and optimistic. Some questions to ask yourself when you have the sun are, how can I incorporate lighthearted fun and play into my life? How can I see the world through the lens of innocence and childlike wonder? And what small shift in perspective can I make to view situations more optimistically? If you got number 20, your card will be judgment. Judgment is reinvention, forgiving, and awakening. Some questions to ask yourself if you have judgment are, what sort of past injustices or wrongdoings do I need to forgive myself for? What new insights have I awakened to lately? And reinvention of the self. Who is it that I would like to become? If you got number 21, your card will be the world. The world is individuation or self-realization and wholeness, successful and completes tasks. Some questions to ask yourself when you have the world are, what is one grand scheme perspective that has recently been illuminated for me? What do I believe lies beyond my own existence? And what small daily practice can I incorporate into my routine to build more self-confidence? If you got number 22, your card will be number 0, the Fool. The Fool is curious, idealistic, and unafraid. Some questions to ask yourself when you have the Fool are, how do I see optimism versus ignorance? How can I approach something that you're already an expert on with the curiosity of a beginner's mind? And how can I let go of my fears and embrace life's adventure? You can find notes on how to find your personal theme card below, as well as the introspective questions we just covered for each of the Major Arcana cards. Please like and subscribe and stay tuned for a full reading on each of these archetypes for your personal card for the year.